In Florida, locals make a tacit agreement. Wildlife lives somewhere far away in the swamps, not on their perfect lawns. You walk in flip-flops by your backyard pond and train yourself not to notice what hides in the shadows. But the predators never signed this agreement. Today, we're breaking down 11 of the most dangerous animals in Florida, living side by side with humans. Our ranking isn't based on what's deadliest on paper, but on how hard people have agreed to pretend these monsters aren't there. Subscribe to the channel, let me know in the comments what city you're watching from, and let's go. 11th place, Coyote. We start with a shadow that roams all 67 counties of Florida. The coyote can be found in every corner of the state, in pine woods, on the edges of swamps, and in the green belts behind luxury Orlando subdivisions. And almost nobody admits to seeing one. An adult weighs 20 to 35 pounds. This is a hunter perfectly adapted to the border where the pristine lawn ends and the brush begins. Golf courses at dawn, dead-end streets, drainage canals. The denial here is almost total. A local spots a large animal at dusk and decides it must be someone's escaped dog. Because the alternative, that a wild predator has carved out a hunting route right along their backyard fence, ruins the fairy tale they tell themselves about where they live. The coyote takes 11th place because it's the perfect doorway into our list. The most successful predators in Florida are the ones you've already decided aren't real. 10th place, coral snake. Now we move to the animal people simply step over. The coral snake is one of the most venomous snakes in North America, carrying a potent neurotoxin. Yet fatalities are incredibly rare, which is exactly why it's here. The coral snake is a master of stealth. Its bright red, yellow, and black pattern paradoxically dissolves into dead leaves and tropical flower beds so flawlessly that people stand a foot away and see only dirt. It doesn't rattle. It doesn't attack. It trusts that you won't notice it, and most of the time, you don't. It lives in the leaf litter of forests and right in manicured suburban gardens. The denial lies in overconfidence. People convince themselves there are no snakes around here, while digging barehanded into prime coral snake cover. The bite, when it happens, lands on a hand or an ankle that reached into a spot the eye had already cleared. 10th place goes to the snake you've probably already stepped over this year. 9th place, cottonmouth. If the coral snake hides on land, the cottonmouth is the snake that ruins the water. It lives all over Florida, in the exact places people go to cool off: forest streams, cypress swamps, and the edges of lakes. It's a thick, dark snake. When cornered, it throws its head back and gapes, revealing a white, cotton-like lining. Its venom is hemotoxic, and a serious bite is a genuine medical emergency. Here is the denial. Every dark silhouette in Florida's waters gets written off as something else. It's just a water snake, just a stick. People swim where cottonmouths bask and tell themselves the water is safe, because looking too closely would ruin the feeling of a summer day. 9th place belongs to the snake that turns the water you trust into water you prefer not to think about. 8th place, eastern diamondback rattlesnake. And now the snake everyone pictures, but nobody expects to actually meet. The eastern diamondback is the largest venomous snake in North America. Unlike others, it doesn't just hide in the deep wilderness. It lives in palmetto thickets, pine forests, and on the edges of new housing developments. A large diamondback easily reaches 5 to 6 feet, with a body as thick as a man's arm. Its fangs are long enough to drive venom incredibly deep. It warns with a dry, unmistakable rattle, but it doesn't always use it, and it doesn't retreat where other snakes would slither away. The denial here is carelessness. People confidently stride through perfect diamondback habitat in shorts and sneakers, certain they'd hear it in advance. But it's coiled in the shade next to the trail you know by heart, doing the one thing it was built to do: wait. 8th place goes to the snake everyone knows by face, but almost nobody watches for underfoot. 7th place, Africanized honeybee. We're halfway there, and if you're still here, it means you really want to know what's hiding around you. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, because from here on, the list stops being something you can just wave away. Moving on to a predator that doesn't look like one. The Africanized honeybee, or killer bee, has long established itself in Florida. To the eye, it's nothing. an ordinary honeybee, indistinguishable from its peaceful cousins. The entire difference lies in its temper. An Africanized colony defends its nest with a fury that regular bees would never show. They respond to any threat with 10 times the stingers, pursue a victim for a quarter of a mile, and don't call off the attack long after European bees would have calmed down. They have killed people and animals, usually someone running a lawnmower or bumping a wall where a swarm settled. The denial here is in the disguise. Nobody flinches at the sight of a bee. 7th place goes to the predator hiding inside the most familiar insect in your yard. 6th place, Florida black bear. Florida actually has a growing population of black bears. Yet on the mental map of the average resident, there is simply no room for them. Beaches, palm trees, Disney World, alligators, yes, but not bears. And yet, they are here. Once pushed to the brink of extinction, bears are recovering their numbers and walking right out into the suburbs. An adult male weighs between 250 and 350 pounds. A black bear doesn't hunt people and would rather leave than fight. But it is strong, and it learns quickly. A bear that figures out human neighborhoods mean easy food, unlocked trash cans, and dog kibble on the porch becomes a genuine threat. The denial lives in genuine surprise. I had no idea there were bears here, say residents of a county where bears have quietly lived for years. 5th place, feral hog. Now we've reached the animal the state cannot get rid of and mostly refuses to reckon with. Florida's feral hog population numbers in the hundreds of thousands, occupying every county in the state. A full-grown boar weighs over 200 pounds, is covered in tough bristles, armed with tusks, and incredibly fast. And it does something most large animals avoid. It stands its ground and will charge. Every year, they cause millions of dollars in damage. The denial lies in the scale of the problem. People know about feral hogs the same way they know about traffic jams. It's just a nuisance, someone else's problem. What they don't picture is their aggression, or the fact that at night, hogs wander right into subdivisions, drawn by irrigated lawns. 5th place belongs to the army of animals whose exact numbers nobody dares to name. 4th place, Burmese python. Here, Florida stands completely alone. No other state has this problem. The Burmese python is an invasive monster that has literally swallowed the Everglades ecosystem. This is a snake capable of growing 15 to 20 feet long and weighing over 200 pounds. They have eaten nearly every small mammal in the southern part of the state and are now suffocating deer and even alligators. The denial here lies in boundaries. Residents of Central and North Florida are convinced pythons are only a problem in the swamps around Miami. They won't slither up here. But pythons are adapting, surviving cold snaps, and slowly creeping north. People simply refuse to believe this giant, silent strangler could end up in their local park. 4th place goes to the predator redrawing the state map while everyone looks the other way. 3rd place, Florida panther. We've reached the true apex predator of wild Florida. It is encountered so rarely that its rarity has turned into a myth that it no longer exists. It hasn't disappeared. These elusive cats move through forests and swamps, remaining almost invisible. A large male can weigh up to 160 pounds and control massive territories, hunting deer as silently as a ghost. In the case of the panther, people have decided it's gone entirely, turning it into a legend of the past. Meanwhile, it's right there in the dark, slipping along the edge of a state that is being paved over faster than anywhere else in the country. 3rd place belongs to the ghost that people speak of as a memory, even though it's still very much alive. 2nd place, bull shark. Now for a predator that breaks your psyche. Everyone accepts that there are sharks in the Gulf and ocean waters off Florida's coast. That's the deal you make with the ocean. What almost nobody wants to admit is that one specific shark doesn't stay in the ocean. The bull shark swims up rivers. It navigates murky freshwater canals that stretch for miles behind expensive mansions, far from the coast. The bull shark is broad and powerful, with females reaching 10 feet. It has a unique gift. It can regulate the salt in its body and move freely into fresh water. This denial costs the most. The man wading knee-deep in a coastal river, the family floating on inner tubes. They are sharing the water with an animal perfectly built for it. There is no fence, no line on the water. Freshwater is not a refuge from the shark. It's just more territory. Second place goes to the predator that ignored the one rule everyone counted on. First place, American alligator. And here we are at number 1. Of course, it's the alligator. Not because it's the most exotic, but because it is the animal with which Florida has perfected the art of invisibility. There are about 1.3 million alligators living in Florida. They inhabit every single county. And the gap between that number and how people behave around the water is the strangest thing in the entire state. Think about what 1.3 million means. The retention pond behind the office has one. The water hazard on the golf course has one. The drainage ditch, the canal behind the house, everywhere. An adult male easily surpasses 10 feet. It is an ambush predator of extraordinary patience, lying motionless for hours, invisible in dark water, striking in a fraction of a second. People jog past an alligator in a pond the same way city dwellers step over a subway grate. The denial here isn't that the alligator isn't there. Everyone knows it's there. It's the daily pretense that it doesn't matter, that the gator in the neighborhood lake is part of the scenery, almost a pet, right up until the morning it isn't. We stopped noticing it not because it hid. We stopped seeing it because it never left, and to face the truth would mean changing our entire way of life. So what is this list really about? Not fear. Fear is easy. It fades by morning. This list is about a tacit agreement that allows a state to pour concrete over residential neighborhoods and build docks right on top of a food chain that is still entirely intact and completely indifferent to people. The coyote is still standing by the fence at dawn. The bull shark is still riding the tide up the river. And the surface of any Florida pond will tell you absolutely nothing about what is holding still beneath it, waiting. Just as it waited long before there were people here who decided to pretend there was nothing there.